What's up, guys? Coach Vassar, thank you for joining me with OTF Audio Daily Beats. As always, if you're new, appreciate you tuning in, listen to me talk about these workouts. If you find value in them, information is in the description to support me. Appreciate all that who have. If you have any feedback, please let me know. We're gonna break down July 8th on Tuesday, which will also repeat on Thursday, July 24th. We're gonna see power on the treads, strength on the weight floor. On the 2G, there's no rowing. On the 3G, it's gonna be a strength-based row. As of the time of this recording, please be aware that there has been no updates to the template, but reviewing this before I made the video, the template talks about 30-second bases, but in the written daily beat, it mentions a push. In the 3G, they actually have a push, and they do mention those pushes in the daily beat as well. So I'm gonna talk about this workout as if it's on the template, how you see, but of course, also kind of spin it as if they do update it to say, you know, what the correct thing is. All right, so talk about the key concepts and then break down the workout. So on the treadmills, we have 4 power blocks with 12 all outs today. Your goal is to build the intensity as you move through the workout. On the rower, there's no rowing today. There isn't the 3G. And then on the weight floor, it's all about priming the body with mini bands in block 1 so you could lift as heavy as possible in block 2. So on the treadmill side, the first 3 blocks follow the same pattern. You're gonna start with a 30-second effort into a series of 3 all outs. Each block, all outs are shorter and tougher. The final block, we revisit all the durations we saw in the first 3 blocks, finishing with your highest intensity of the day, okay? So like I said, on the template itself, blocks 1, 2, 3, and 4, they all start with a 30-second base into the all outs. The walk recoveries are always a minute today, with the exception of in between blocks. So in block 1, 5 minutes and 30 seconds, you're gonna see that 30-second base, and then a 1 minute all out, walk, 1 minute all out, walk, 1 minute all out. The goal is to set the intention and maintain. So the very common phrase that we hear, something like this: practice, perfect, perform. So test out how that 1 minute all out feels, build that confidence, and finish strong as they repeat it. They do talk a little bit about heart rate response with today. Like, of course, the heart rate is gonna be a slow increase on that response, but about, you know, halfway through the all out, they're tapping into the orange. At the end of the all out, for the next 10 to 15 seconds of our walk, the heart rate will continue to climb, level out, then start to decrease, okay? When we move into block 2, the all outs are now 45 seconds with the same 1 minute walk recovery. The goal is to maintain an all out and at least maintain what they've done before or increase and keep that new one. And then the third block, same thing, base, and then 30-second all outs. And then the fourth and final block, we're gonna hit a 1 minute, a 45, and a 30. So at the very least, whatever they do for 1 minute, can they maintain into the 45 and the 30? Or are we gonna increase and hopefully match their best 30 all out from block 3, or even do better? For the hypothetical, if they do adjust the template and they make it in line with the daily beat, we're gonna see a 30-second push into the all-out efforts, so almost like a ramp up. So they'll start with 8% or greater. If they power walk, joggers and runners, I would keep them kind of in that mid-range, 1 to 1.5. Nothing crazy, it's more about just getting them to move their feet, get used to a quicker step cadence. Bikes and striders, think about the gradual buildup. So maybe start about 3 gears, 4 gears over base, and then when they hit the all out, 6 gears or more, okay? Like I said though, on the template, when you view it, it talks about base. I looked on Orange U, it still says base. There has been no updates yet. Maybe they will. I did send an email, we'll find out. Other than that, that's it on the treads. Like I said, pretty simple, but really it's gonna be about those peaks and valleys, performance, recovery, so on and so forth. Now, when we look at this, the weight floor side, block 1, 5.5 minutes, it's gonna be matched up with the tread side. They're gonna see 3 mini band exercises. They are all placed around the middle of the shin. They're gonna squat, hold, lateral walks for 6 reps. So with both feet apart, step, step, 2, 3, come back, 3, that's 1, they have 6 reps. The goal is to maintain band tension the entire time, followed by the mid-band walkout. Now with the walkout, it's gonna be a wider stance. We wanna try to drive the knees out against the band as they hinge, hands to the floor, walk out to that plank position, and try to keep the knees straight as they walk the hands back and then stand up tall. For the squat hold lateral walk, if you have the time to help with members with keeping tension on the band, a great tool to use is the kneel pad. Hold it lengthwise so it's long from your point of perspective, place it between their knees, and try to keep their feet away and the knees away from the mat from touching. That's gonna keep that wide stance, it's gonna keep tension on the band. Now the last movement is the mid-band foot exchange. This is where we're gonna feet side by side and they jump and switch. The key thing for this one is the railroad tracks, okay? And it's also a very small hop. If you take too big of a hop, it's gonna cause the bands to roll up. And if they hop and they bring their feet in, they lose that tension. So very short, really light up the lateral glute. That way the hips are primed because we are going as heavy as possible in block 2. Block 2, 16.5 minutes. We're gonna see a total of 4 exercises. That's it. Each exercise they're gonna do twice before they go to the next movement. Once they finish all 4 movements for 2 rounds each, then they'll do all the movements as one block as a bonus. But ideally, no matter whether it's the actual work or the bonus, it's done as a work and rest. They have 6 to 10 reps. We're gonna see rear foot elevated goblet split squats, 6 to 10 per side. So you have the dumbbell here, really work on core engagement, glutes, quads of that front leg. They'll hit both sides, rest, hit both sides again. Then we're gonna see the bench pullover. So targeting upper back, the lats, a little bit of tricep, really keeping those arms straight and extended. Then they're gonna go into the two-handed single dumbbell deadlift. Once again, the whole point of that is to help increase range of motion for them to get deeper into that deadlift position to really elicit a deep hamstring and glute stretch. Just make sure that they don't have any rounding through the lower back. Or if they do have some rounding, it's purposeful rather than unintentional, because maybe they have that flexibility to allow a little bit of bend and it feels okay. And then the fourth movement is gonna be a split stance, single arm low row. They're gonna have one hand on the bench and then both feet are on the floor with that split stance as they hit that row. And then their choice of a finisher of either the pullover or an alternating sumo deadlift. And that's the 2G. Now, when we look at the 3G side, the 3G block for the treads, there's 3 blocks. Rower is 1 long block, and then on the weight floor is also 1 long block. On the treadmill side, we're gonna see 5.5 minutes for block 1, followed by 3 minutes and 45 seconds, and then a 2 minute and 30 second block. Now, this is a little bit different than what we see in the 2G. For starters, it actually starts with that 3-minute push that they talked about. And then block 1 is the same after that. So 1 minute all out, 1 minute walk, all out, walk, all out. Maintain the all out intensity. Now, block 2 and 3 are gonna be slightly different. There is a 75 walk recovery between them. In block 2, match or increase the all out intensity from treadmill block 1. However, it starts with the all out at 45 seconds. The walk recovery is shorter as well. So if they keep the 1 minute all out, we should be able to maintain that. If they increase the all out, it's gonna be a challenge to maintain that new one because there's also less recovery, okay? They have 3 rounds, all out, walk, all out, walk, all out. There's 75 seconds to recover, and then the final block, everything decreases again. 2.5 minutes here, 3 rounds of a 30 all out, 30 walk, okay? So once again, match or increase the all out from tread block 2. Maintaining should be doable with that shorter recovery. Increasing will be a challenge to maintain. Now the rower is a very long block. We're gonna see 3 row attempts with a med ball exercise that will complete 1 round. On the next round, they'll do the same 3 row stroke counts with a different exercise. So in round 1, they'll clear out the screen at the start. They're gonna do 20 strokes at an all-out effort, followed by the single leg angled press. They're gonna balance on one leg, med ball or Y bell at the chest. They're gonna press it up at about a 45-degree angle and back down, 6 per leg. They leave the screen alone, then they hit 15 strokes at an all-out effort. And then the same movement. And then 10 strokes, same movement. After they have completed a total of 45 strokes and their 3 attempts of that med ball exercise, check their distance, reset, and then they're gonna do it again, but now it's gonna be a squat hold bicep curl. So hips are low, elbows are pinned as they hit that curl motion with the med ball or Y bell for 6 reps, okay? Same thing, 20, 15, 10. And then check their distance. Did they match your beat? Clear it out. The third round, it's gonna be a single leg tricep extension. So bicep by the ear, weight is overhead, lower it down, keep those elbows in tucked and extend back up. 20, 6 and 6, because they're gonna be unbalancing on one leg. 15, med ball, 10, med ball. Check their distance. Hopefully they've done their best distance. They'll clear out their screen and then row until the finisher. Now, in the template itself, it does not necessarily give you a stroke rate for them to use, but it is a strength-focused row attempt. So even though it's an all-out effort, I would encourage them to keep the stroke rate low and think about all-out leg drive rather than an all-out stroke rate. So maybe 20 to 24 on the stroke rate. So we're aiming for max distance per stroke rather than finishing the row as quick as possible. All right. Once again, they don't give you a specific stroke rate range to use, but I do encourage you to maybe incorporate that based off of your members. Now on the weight floor, no mini band work. They're just gonna take the second block from the 2G and do that for 14 minutes and 15 seconds. So the rear foot elevated split squat, pullover, deadlift, and the single arm low row, 2 rounds for each movement. Do them all as one big block, and then their same finisher of either a bench pullover or the 2-handed single dumbbell deadlift. Knowing that that's the finisher in the 3G, I'm assuming that the alternating sumo deadlift finisher in the 2G is a misprint, and especially because they don't talk about that in the daily beat. So, good job, template design team. Anyways, we're all human, we all make mistakes. Big thing, of course, peaks and valleys for the tread side on the weight floor, work and rest. Emphasize that recovery, lift heavier or slow it down. 3 counts down, 3 counts up is a great way to challenge people and make sure that they have that good tension in the midline to incorporate the core and feel those abs burn. Any feedback, please let me know. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM or ask in the group me. Other than that, coach it down.